Hi, everyone. This is Deron Slater from Yeshua's Patriots. As promised, you guys, I have bold, insatiable Mavericks here who are supreme constitutionalists, you guys, and they are warriors for the country. And they are here today. And I'm going to let Liberty, if she can, there you go. Yeah, she had muted herself. I'm going to let Liberty introduce herself and then introduce the rest of the gang to you as well. You guys, I have a great treat for you today. And we're going to talk about Walz a little bit because you all know he's in defiance to us and the United States Constitution. We are not defying him. We are remaining law-abiding citizens, and we are practicing our constitutional rights. And you guys, we are unyielding and unwavering. And we are going to fight this, okay, to the end, period. We are dedicated to it. So, Liberty, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself while I will make the final adjustments on Tyrant Book or Walz Book.
Sure, no problem. So, my name is Liberty. I have personally never been involved in Patriots up until just a few months ago. And in my own local government, I saw that even at the lower local level, our officials were dangerously overreaching and attempting to overreach even more. They had already gone too far, but what they were attempting was draconian and terrifying. So I, along with another several 20, 30, 40 patriots who are very heavily involved and very actively involved, were dragged kicking and screaming into becoming activated, and we fought our local government. We have won for now. We do expect that they're going to continue to attempt their overreach. They've already told us they're going to keep going. In this fight, one of the resources that I found was called the Constitutional Law Group, and I was able to attend a couple of trainings on how do we demand information from our government. What exactly is the government? What is the people? What are the rights of the people? We do not learn what the Constitution really says. We don't have civics classes in school anymore. And we have all forgotten who is really in charge, lawfully in charge, peacefully in charge, but still who is in charge. And in that, I met Kyle, and he actually did one of the trainings where it was an eye-opening experience, and I can honestly say that I'm still drinking from the fire hose even from that very first day. In working with him, I had so many questions, and I just really dug into it in such a way that he asked me to come on board as more of a full-time partner. So we've been working very heavily, not only in our local areas, but also we saw the need in Minnesota. Because Minnesotans were getting pushed around, abused. This is an abusive relationship with a bully, with a tyrant, with a sick individual who is battering the state, battering the individuals of the state. And as you can see, I love liberty, I love justice, and I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't start to stand up for those who were getting battered. I had this little bit of extra knowledge. I had a bit of an upper hand. And so I just started reaching out to strangers, literally reaching out to strangers that I would meet on Facebook, and ask them, hey, you made this comment about this. What do you really think? What are your thoughts? And trying to get in touch with people who actually would take action. In doing that, through a network of new friends and amazing patriots, I was lucky enough to be given Lisa's information as a contact because she was trying to remain open as a business owner. And so I reached out to her, talked to her a little bit, gave her some of the information, and asked her to take some time to think about it because it's a challenge, it's work, and we're very confident in what we're doing. So that's my very long introduction to Kyle and Lisa.
No, that was amazing. And I'm just putting on my headphones, and oh my gosh, I had my gain turned all the way up. So I do apologize about that bass. To everyone, you guys, right now, this is really good. I see that we have people from Australia and Great Britain who are actually live. You guys, if you can share this video, this is going to be awesome, you guys. I want you all to know that Liberty, Kyle, and Lisa, they are assisting our other patriotic sister who was on the show, you guys, when we had the bad audio problem because my devices started to mess up. Lisa, the owner of Alibi, you guys, who has lost over 700K thus far due to this the draconianism. And you guys, they are helping her. So we are working together. And as you all know, that is my goal, is to bring all of the patriots together so that we can work in a concerted effort to restore America to a constitutional republic. And that's the way that we are to be and ought to be, right? I want to talk about Walz a little bit, okay? Now, with him basically having these unconstitutional mandates, a lot of people are wondering, since you guys are helping Lisa, what's a way that the ordinary person can definitely help themselves? Because Lisa, I know that I did get some information not too long ago that Liberty shared with me, and I posted it with business owners would know some of their constitutional rights. Can you guys basically just elaborate on some of those and just make the common person, if you could just educate them about their constitutional rights as a business owner dealing with these unconstitutional mandates?
Sure. Why don't you start with Marbury versus Madison?
Okay.
Sure. That's a Supreme Court ruling that goes all the way back to 1803. And one argued correctly, it's never lost in court. So that's over 200 years of precedent. And it goes without saying. And what that basically says in a nutshell is any law, order, rule, statute that is repugnant to the Constitution is to be considered null and void. So if you're not familiar with what repugnant means, it means contradicts or go against what is the what is supposed to be. So that is huge, and that's kind of the base that we build everything off of. Another one is the Miranda versus Arizona, and if you say, well, that kind of sounds familiar, well, that's where you hear your Miranda rights from. Is another benchmark U.S. Supreme Court that still is the basis or the foundation of law today, and that one is any where your constitutional rights are concerned, there can be no law, rule, or statute that abrogates our rights, and that means tosses them aside. So obviously what Walz and Ellison and so many city councils and county boards and health departments and liquor boards are doing goes against all this. And that's the problem. We have been so conditioned to just accept it because it's the government and you can't fight City Hall, when that's a bunch of hogwash. It is what we're supposed to do. They are our servants. And in fact, when you become a servant through either elected or appointed position to the government, you lose your sovereign rights. And we as people of the land, whether it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, or wherever, living, breathing people, we are sovereign people. We have that right. And that's where our servants, our governors, our sheriffs, anybody else within the system, that's where they get their power. So the first thing you need to realize as a business owner is unless a statute or a law or whatever they want to say goes exactly with your constitutional rights, it's not a law. You do not have to follow it. You do not have to abide by it. And when the government agent, whoever that may be, comes in, you point that out. And that's the biggest thing that we need to educate everybody on, and just get people understanding that they have rights, and when they don't know them or don't use them, you don't have them. So that's where you start with business owners.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
So, and a few people, especially Billy, in comments, they're sharing my sentiments. You just said that if they create a law, basically just paraphrasing, okay?
Yeah.
If they create a law and they try to enforce them, you can tell them and remind them this is not a law.
Correct.
You basically have
Correct.
no authority.
Correct.
Correct.
Here's the crazy thing, right? And this causes a mental conniption for me, okay? Because I do not like when a person turns into a tyrant and they try to infringe upon my constitutional rights. I feel as a patriot and also as a devout Christian, okay? When you infringe upon one right, you're infringing upon all of them. Because if you infringe upon one, you do strip away the power of all of them. Here's the thing, though. So when you have a sheriff in your face and they're saying, we're going to shut down your business or we're going to take you to jail, what are you doing? What do you do in that scenario?
So until this battle started and I got kind of dragged in, I've always been never been really a Republican or Democrat. I've been the more of the party of get off my lawn, just let me do my thing, but respect the rule of law. Until I got dragged into this fight, I would have said, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing to do. The sheriff is law enforcement. He's authority. But once I started delving into this and sitting under the constitutional lawyers learning tree and really just finding out what exactly our rights are, I discovered that when somebody's trying to deprive you of your rights, whether your civil rights or civil liberties, whatever it be, there's actually federal law that protects you. And that is Title 18, U.S. Code 242, which is deprivation of rights under the color of law. And what the color of law is anytime anybody in official garb, whether it be a law enforcement officer, a health department worker, a liquor board, anything like that, whenever they come at you saying, hey, you have to do this because it's the law, or the governor's order, it's the law. Well, no, it's not. So they're trying to intimidate you or coerce you to do something or to give up your rights or to take away your rights. And that's a federal offense. It's punishable by anywhere from a fine to a year in prison to, if severe enough, death. And this is something that is very key. So once you violate your oath of office, and darn near everybody takes an oath of office, whether they are elected or appointed, they must take an oath of office to hold that office. And what that oath is, it's a verbal contract that you will uphold and defend the Constitution against foreign and domestic enemies. And they put in some other stuff for whatever the department is. And when you break that oath, you're breaking a contract to we the people. And remember, we the people are where they get their authority from. So when you break that contract, you're actually declaring an act of war on we the people, which is treason, is sedition. And it goes to the 14th Amendment, sections 3 and 4. So when you do that, you lose your judicial immunity. So now that sheriff that's in your face, he has no right. As soon as he tries to enforce that and you tell him, hey, you are depriving me of my rights, which is a federal crime, as soon as he willingly and or knowingly violates that, his oath of office no longer exists. He has no more judicial immunity. So now he is criminally liable. He is professionally liable. All these officers, they have bonds that you can sue them for. It's kind of like a malpractice. And then they're also personally liable. So if you so choose, you could take their house, you could take their bank accounts, you could leave them penniless on the streets. So you let them know that. And if they still do, then you take lawful action in a court of law. And that's the beauty of it.
And I'd like to add to, we're using some really powerful language here, which is necessary because that's where we're at. But in no way do we condone, advocate, or want to promote any type of violence or unlawful insurrection against any type of law enforcement official. If they are actively violating your rights, which you can point to in the Constitution, whether it's the Constitution of the United States, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Alaska, any state, if you can point to the right that you have in the Constitution, which is being violated, then you can respectfully protest and say, no, this is a violation of my rights. We absolutely will not stand for people who are harassing our law enforcement officials. We absolutely back the blue. We absolutely love our constitutional sheriffs and will do anything in our power to make sure that they get reelected. So we, as vocal as we are in fighting for our rights, we are also that vocal in fighting for those who protect us. So I know Kyle used some really great, powerful language, but we also want to make sure that that this comes across too, that we absolutely do not condone any type of unlawful harassment of any law enforcement officials.
Right. And now you see why she's my partner, because we just tag team so well together. But on top of that, if you do get arrested, don't fight. Go with them. That's not where you take the fight. You take it to the courtroom. You grab assistance of counsel, and you do it the proper way. So, as Lisa and Liberty both know, I've explained, I have a long history of law enforcement, so I have nothing but the utmost respect. I will boldly and forcefully, with verbiage, stand my ground. But as soon as they lay hands on me, I just go with them, because what else are you going to do? You're not going to, that's how people get killed. That's how you make headlines the wrong way. So.
Well, I just have to tell you is that you're amongst fair-minded brethren here. You guys, I have to say this. I feel they solidified everything that I have said. Okay, because that's what the Constitution does. You guys, it puts you on equal footing. But I love that Liberty actually basically exemplified one point that I always like to espouse, is that they don't teach civics anymore, and that's fully intentional. It's to strip you of your knowledge of your rights, so that way, when they're taking it from you, you don't know. There's no resistance, and they infringe, and they infringe, and they infringe. And I always say this, you guys: you take a step back, try to be peaceful with a tyrant, they take a step forward. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a corner. Lisa, I believe you have some material you would love to introduce. Is right now the most opportune time, or should we delay it?
Well, we can go for it if you guys are ready.
I'm definitely ready.
Yeah.
But Lisa, before you say that, I just want to say this: Liberty and Kyle, I'm just like, I turned my mic off, and I'm just like, you two are crushing this. Kyle, my man, dude, wow, bro, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys came on. Oh my goodness. I mean, my patriotic blood is just coursing. I'm just like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone, share this video. Okay, it is absolutely imperative that people learn their rights. They have to hear their rights. And sometimes people have to be encouraged by seeing other people taking the stand. Okay, we're doing this in Minnesota. This is where basically, you guys, the false narrative was basically created with George Floyd, and it went all across the nation and caused massive hysteria, and tons of businesses were burned down. And then also this encouraged and this emboldened Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And you guys know I say French toast Antifa and Black Lives Matter. But the thing is, though, you guys, I believe that since Minnesota created the problem, Keith Ellison, okay, Minnesota should be the ones who can rectify the problem. And so, you guys, this is why I'm just so bold. I'm just like, we got to just take a stand here. But anyway, I'm sorry. Lisa, go ahead. I digress.
You got excited. First, I just want to say that Liberty and Kyle have been a tremendous help with us, with me in the situation that we're in. And big thanks and gratitude go to them. There is no way we would be able to do what we are doing right now without them as assistants of counsel. So thank you to you guys. And thanks for hearing our story today. I do have a statement that I'd like to read in reference to what we are going through, because it's not about one business. It's about all of us businesses. It's not about, just the state of Minnesota. This is about our nation. This is about our liberties and our freedoms. And I sure wish I would have paid a little more attention in history class in school. You know how we all say, I wish I would have paid more attention. Now I'm really needing to rely on the Constitution. And I'm having to learn a lot. I'm getting an education as we speak. And let me just go ahead and read my statement here. We, the people, as living, breathing men and women of Minnesota and the United States of America, are standing firm upon our unalienable rights protected by the Constitution of the United States and Minnesota. What Mr. Walz, Mr. Ellison, along with the Department of Health at state and local levels, the Liquor Board, city councils, county boards are doing is trespassing on our rights. They are not only in violation of the oath of office they each took, they are committing a multitude of crimes against we the people, including domestic terrorism, a violation of the USA Patriot Act of 2001. We are prepared to and have obtained assistance of counsel to address these crimes and violations of our rights. Legislators, governors, health departments, attorney generals were never given authority to control the behavior of the people. As we read in the U.S. Supreme Court decision, all laws, rules, and practices which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void. Marbury versus Madison. Elected and or appointed officials simply do not have the authority to rule make. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Miranda versus Arizona. Standing upon our unalienable rights that are supported by Supreme Court rulings, we invite all businesses to open and resume operations as normal. We also advise any government official that if they interfere with any of our unalienable constitutional rights or retaliate against, we will seek remedy in both professional and private capacities. That's my statement.
I love it. Love it. Yeah, bravo. Bravo. I love it. Hey, Liberty.
Yes.
Are are you busy? I was hearing like some kind of like of a ruckus over there.
No. I'm not, but
Okay.
yeah. I'm here by myself, so.
Okay, got you. So
Yeah.
So Kyle,
Yes.
since we have these rogues who are operating in position of power, now we know that one of the ways that they can expand their tyrannical tentacles, right, through bureaucracy, right, is by so Walz, he's taking advantage of the emergency powers. Then he goes, well, okay, I can create these edicts. Basically, this is what I'm gonna call them, these unconstitutional edicts, because of these emergency powers that have been given to me. I like that you actually said that, hey, don't use force when it comes to apprehend you. If they arrest you, don't fight them because you don't win and win. You want to go to court. Kyle, here's the problem though that we're running into. Our courts are tainted because of, I believe in the original intent of the United States Constitution. I believe to get the original intent, as according to the founding fathers, they say you always go back to the founding fathers for original intent. But the judicial interpretation has basically tainted the true intent of the United States Constitution. And so people are like, where do we really get our redemption if we can't get it in the courts? And they actually side with the tyrannical mandates. What do you think the solution would be right there, Kyle? And I'm sorry to put so much on you, my brother.
Oh no.
The thing is, I could tell you're equally as passionate or even more passionate about this subject matter.
Well, first thing you got to do is know you're going against not just the whoever the district attorney or the other attorney is, but most cases you're going against a judge also, and maybe one or two other people. And you got to realize what court you're in. There are different courts. Article 1 court is a maritime law court, which When you go into court is where you're going. Now, do we live on the water? Why would we be in a maritime court? Makes no sense. So you want to put it into an Article 3 court, which is of the land. And we are living, breathing people of the land. So that's step one. The next step is you hold them to their oath, both the opposing attorney, because he took an oath, and the judge. And if they admit that they are going to follow their oath, you take the next steps down, and you never ask a question that you don't already know, and you always ask the question and make them answer. So if they decide that they're going to violate their oath of office, it's on record. And if they do violate their oath of office, when you have authority over that court, you can have them step down. The Constitutional Law Group founder, Rick Martin, who's a constitutional attorney or lawyer, he'd kill me if I said attorney. He's made judges run off the bench. Beginning of December, he was on a Zoom court with a gentleman in Philadelphia, and the judge would not answer in the affirmative whether or not he was going to uphold the Constitution and his oath. After about 7 times, the judge said, well, I know where this is going, because if I answer this and I say yes, there's 13, 14 other defendants here that are going to pick up on that, and we're going to be out money. So they rescheduled everything till January because that judge would not answer the question. So you have to take your authority. And if the judge is going to uphold his oath, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to dismiss the case with prejudice because they're wrong. Whether it's a technicality or they're violating one of your unalienable rights. And so that's how you take it back. Unfortunately, what we've seen with the businesses that have gone to court, they've had the same law firm represent them. And if the same law firm is using the same argument, why would you keep running your head into the wall when you know there's a wall there? You know, everyone that we've talked to, we've given them, hey, this is a constitutional right. This is what you're standing on. And they've stood on their constitutional rights until they got to court. And their bar attorney, who's beholden to the court, said, nope, we're not going to argue the constitutionality of it. Well, if you're not going to argue the constitutionality of it, you're going to lose every time. In fact, in Larvita's court hearing, Liberty can speak to this. She was the one that was kind of relaying me the messages. But one of the first things that was said was, we're not going to argue the constitutionality of it. That's been settled. And then at the very end of the case, or the hearing, the judge was talking about, because the argument was, well, the native reservations and the casinos can be open, Wisconsin can be open, South Dakota can be open. And the judge said, well, they're sovereign people, they're sovereign states, whatever. So it went back and gave the attorney the answer. You come forward on the sovereignty. Right. The thing with courts is they love, if you're arguing the right thing but just not saying the right words, they'll give you the answer how to come back for an appeal. But they won't, even though they know you're right, they won't go ahead and say, you know, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I'm going to rule for you. But that's where the corruption comes in. And we need to hold our courts accountable. And one way is taking that authority back.
Absolutely. Here's something else that I just want to point out. I'm gonna put this. I want to post this comment here. Liberty, give me your opinion about this comment here.
Okay,
because my base already knows my opinion on this.
Right. So that comes from the 14th Amendment, which states that citizens are subject to the government. So what you need to understand is when you use different words, words matter. So when you start talking about person, the legal definition of person is a corporate entity, and a corporate entity is dead. It is not a live being. So when we start saying, I'm a person, then we are verbally entering into that agreement where we are acknowledging that we are a dead corporate entity. But Lisa, who are you?
Who am I?
Yes, who are you? When you are asked, who are you?
I am we the people. Is that
We the people, exactly. Yes. When we talk about we are the people, because the people have the rights in the Constitution. So when we start declaring our rights as the people, then we get to have those rights. When we admit that we are a person or a dead corporate entity, we give up so many of those rights, and that immediately subjects us to the maritime court. As Kyle was talking about, there are two different courts. When you go in and you enter and you verbally acknowledge to the judge as your honor that you understand the charges against you. When you do that, you have immediately subjected yourself to their jurisdiction. You have admitted that you are a dead corporation and that you do not deserve the rights afforded to we the people.
Say that. Wait, Liberty. Hold on, Liberty.
I know.
Say that one more time, please.
Right. So this, again, words matter. They really, really matter. So if you look up person, the legal, or if you go to the Black's Law Library, one of the definitions is person. A person is a corporation. Now, I am not a corporation. I am a living, breathing, sentient being. I am the people. I get to have the rights that are listed in the Constitution, as long as I understand that I am the people. As soon as I verbally acknowledge I am a person, then I have given up some of my rights. I've given up many of my rights. When I continue to declare my rights as the people, then I continue to secure my rights as the people, and the people are where the government gets its power. So the people are the ones with the power. A person is a corporation. A person is a government servant. They are not a government leader. They are government servants. They are beholden to the people.
That's right. We're sovereign people, not sovereign citizens. There is a huge difference. Do not say sovereign citizens. Do not even say citizens, because then you are, again, that corporate entity. So
You know what? These guys are validating everything that I say in my videos, you guys. We give government power. We can take it back any time we wish. And if they refuse to adhere to our demands and our requests, we know that we have tyrants who are definitely claiming, or basically under falsehoods, to be our representatives, you guys. That is
I'd like to read something really quick, if that's okay. All right. So as we were just talking about the difference between the people and a person, the Fourth Amendment states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. When we go to the first part of this, it says the right of the people to be secure in their persons. I have the right to be secure in my person, my physical body, without you telling me what I must put on my face. That is a violation of my right as the people. In my houses, papers, and effects, well, my effects are my belongings, my property, my physical business, my restaurant, whatever I own, and I have the right to be secure in that against unreasonable search and seizure. Now, if Walls is telling a restaurant that they can only have 25% capacity open, they have unlawfully seized 75% of the capacity of that business. That is a violation of the rights. That does not come into play with a medical exemption. That is not a religious exemption. That does not require you to say or understand anything other than you are the people. That is your right. Period. End of story.
Right. And to add a little bit to that, when it comes to property, property doesn't just mean what you possess, your tangible items, your house, your business, your car, whatever. It also means your offspring, your biological property. That's something you want to kind of, another term that you want to start using, biological property. It sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but that is what your children are. Your offspring are biological property. Property also means your rights. They do not have any authority to violate your rights. And it also means your body. So your body, your biological property, your offspring, and your rights. So the Fourth Amendment, although it seems like it's very, narrow, that word property alone just expands to a much broader scope of what they can and cannot violate.
Can we just pause for 1 second?
Sure.
Because here's the thing, you guys, this is a lot of information. And I'm reading the comments here. People are completely blown away by what they are hearing.
Yeah.
But you guys, it's one thing to remember, I told you that true power isn't knowledge. It's knowledge with action that is true power. And I always say this, you guys, we have to start taking action. You guys, I'm slightly perplexed right now, and I'm becoming I'm becoming a little apoplectic because there should be more people watching this video right now, learning about their rights. And so they can learn how to basically protect their rights. Remember, I always tell you guys, there's something that Benjamin Rush always said. It is every American citizen's duty to read the Constitution, study the Constitution, okay? Teach the Constitution, defend the Constitution, and assert the Constitution. This is part of it, you guys. This is part of the constitutional reset. We have to get back to our fundamentals as citizens. We have to be studied in our Declaration of Independence to be used in tandem with the United States Constitution. You guys, invite more people to this video. This is probably going to be one of the biggest videos of 2020. Okay. And as I said before, yeah, William Barr is the biggest disappointment of 2020. I have my opinion about that. But you guys, all kidding aside, this is a very important video. And you should feel emboldened about this, but not just only emboldened, but you guys, you should feel empowered by this. Your Constitution gives you your power. Know it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Caio. Go ahead and finish your point.
Just to tag on to what you said, the Constitution, Thomas Jefferson is quoted as saying, but all the forefathers, they designed the Constitution in the way of it can be read and understood by the average person. You don't need a law degree. I know for a long time I thought, well, the Constitution is kind of like the King James version of the Bible. Thou art this, that, and you get lost in translation. But no, that's not what this is. And so anybody with just an average learning basis can read it and understand it because it means what it says. And that's the most important part of this. It means, the word unalienable alone is in the preamble. We were endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. Well, unalienable means unable to take away. So if you just start there, that means no matter what order, what law, what statute, what rule, you can't take it away. And we have to stand on that principle and say, when they say, yeah, but no, that's where we have to stop it. Yeah, buts live in the woods. We say no, because that is our power and our authority given to us by our Creator, no matter who that Creator you believe. That is what our constitutional rights are based on.
And I know if, we have basically turned on the fire hose today and everybody's drinking from it with all this information. And a lot of times it's hard to know where to start. So if we could give one first step for people, go read the Constitution. I have a Constitution I carry in my purse. I have the Constitution of the United States. I have the Constitution of Wisconsin. I have the Constitution of Minnesota. I keep those, a pocket version, with me at all times. And I'm able to just simply open it up and read exactly what is in front of me. You can order a Constitution, a pocket Constitution, for $1 online. I mean, it's insane. I carry extras with me, and for people who seem to have a friendly question on their face when I walk around without a mask and not ready to attack me, if they look like they want to approach me, I smile, I talk to them, and then talk to them a little bit about what is a mask, why do we wear it, why do we not, and how did I get to that conclusion comes from my rights in the Constitution. Do you know the Constitution? Here, let me show it to you. Look at the words. Why don't you read them out loud to me? And when people start reading the words for themselves, they stop, they look at me, and then they say, what did I just say? What did I just read? And I said, that really is what it says. You just read it. I did not make this up. Here you go. Keep this. Take it with you. So for people to get this, read it, carry it with them, and just understand everything that's in there, that is a huge first step, because as soon as you see what is legitimate and what is true, you can smell what's fishy. You can see a counterfeit. As that's exactly how tellers can just because they deal in true money all day long. They touch it all day long. They know what is right and what is true. And the second a counterfeit bill comes along, they can tell just by touching it, because they know what the truth is. And that's what we need to do. Know what the truth is by reading the Constitution as step one.
That's a brilliant point. And you guys, I have to give Yeshua all praise and all glory. Can you imagine, Liberty, Kyle, and Lisa, if churches get back to the fundamental, just say a fundamental reset? Because back then in early America, churches were teaching the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution to their congregation. Can you imagine if churches were actually teaching the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution to their congregation? We'll have a more informed populace. We're supposed to have an informed populace when in regards to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. What trips me out about these churches today, you guys, is that they are partially liberal indoctrination centers, and they erode you of your critical thinking skills along with your rights. And yet they say, well, in the same breath, well, I'm giving you liberation. I'm giving you spiritual liberation. No, you're not. If you're not teaching the Declaration of Independence and United States Constitution, and you're telling them to basically kowtow to a tyrant, you are stripping your congregation of their constitutional rights, and you are putting them in spiritual bondage. Nothing pisses me off more than an ignorant, or I should say illiterate pastor who's completely subservient and they're indoctrinated by liberal politics and they're submissive to the PC culture. Pisses me off. And you guys, this is why I hate commercialized Christianity. Early America, you did not separate your religion, your faith from your politics. Your faith, your religion dictates your politics. We have to get back to square A. There was a question, Liberty, that I do have for you.
Yes.
Liberty, with the huge mask thing, a lot of people are basically saying, okay, so if they go into an establishment and they don't want to wear the mask, but this establishment is telling them to wear the mask, according to the comments, they're saying, what is a simple thing they can actually say to basically trump that?
Well, as it's no secret, I do not wear a mask whenever possible. I make a couple of exceptions because I care about the businesses that I go to, and I know that, and I have many years of relationships with them, and I do not want to put them in a position where they have to make a choice between kicking me out or staying open, so out of compassion for those personal relationships, I make certain choices. Generally though, the other 99% of the time, I either go where I know I'm not going to be harassed, or I'm going to be minimally harassed, and I simply walk through the door.
Okay, so
Here,
Liberty.
you need a mask.
So
You need a mask. Nope, just keep going. Or do not answer. Do not acknowledge. Just keep walking. You know, if somebody's going to physically get in front of me and physically assault me, well, I know how to use my rights to exercise them in court, and I understand. I am aware of what my rights are. And if they have decided to attempt to deprive me of my rights under color of law, whether they are uniformed or not, whether they have taken an oath or not, you can commit deprivation of rights under the color of law. You can also commit conspiracy of deprivation of rights under the color of law. So for those individuals who have not taken an oath, they still can be in conspiring with somebody who has taken an oath. If they enforce a mandate, an unlawful mandate by the governor, then they have conspired with the governor to deprive me of my rights under color of law. And I will simply, if they don't want to listen in that moment to calm explanation of what the true law actually is, I will leave and I will choose if I decide that I need to pursue that in court with them lawfully, peacefully, calmly, but I will win.
oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you guys, just just to add some levity to this, I usually tell people I identify as a mask, and they just let me go. But if that doesn't work, I tell them, hey, I'm with Black Lives Matter. I can do what I want to do. Now go ahead and mess with my black card. So, but here's the thing, though, you guys. Here's the thing. That's just for the sake of levity. Now, Kyle, this question is to you. Hypothetically, just say you're more of a libertarian, right? And you're just like, look, if that's what you want to do with your business, man, that's totally cool with you, man. If you want me to wear a mask, man, I'll wear a mask at your business. Kyle, does a business have the right to basically say that in order for you to even come to my business, you must wear a mask? Because I know Liberty kind of indirectly answered this, but I just looking for a more clear, concise explanation. Because Liberty, I didn't present this question to you directly, but yeah, Kyle.
So the one thing you hear the most is, well, it's a private business. They have the right. No shoes, no shirts, no service. Nope. If you are open to the public in any way, shape, or form, you are not a private club. You do not require private membership. So your Sam's Clubs, your Costco's, all that, they don't count because anybody can come in, fill an application, pay the fee, and is allowed in. A country club or a swim club that you have to be invited into, you have to go through whatever process they are. They don't necessarily have to abide by the discrimination laws. However, these public stores and businesses that anybody can walk into, they do. So once that's established, you walk in and you tell them, hey, you are open to the public business. There are discrimination laws, not only the disability discrimination, but the civil rights laws of 1964 that you're violating by not letting me go in. And the comeback is, well, we have curbside pickup. So if I was a person of color or of a Jewish faith or Muslim faith, where as soon as you see that person, you know that there's somebody different in some way, shape, or form. And you said, well, yeah, we have restrooms, but you can't use this one that's right here. You have to go to the back of the store, the one out around the back of the store. Or if you want to drink, you can't use this fountain right here. You have to use the one way over there that's just for you. And it's no different from a mask. Masks are not only a religious issue, which you can't discriminate against, but it's a medical issue. And then again, so you got the two First Amendment issues right there. And if that's not good enough, well, then it's a Fourth Amendment issue also with right to your property. So they're violating these rights. And again, the deprivation of rights under color of law. Anybody can deprive you of your rights, whether they are a law enforcement or a public official or just a private citizen. that still is a federal offense. And once you explain to them, up until, so Rick Martin's been doing this for over 30 years. And the beginning of December, he had his first official say, I don't care, bring me to court. And so for 30 plus years, he's explained deprivation of rights means you can get sued and you will get sued. You can have criminal charges, and I will press criminal charges. And up until that one person who is now being sued and facing criminal charges, up until that one person, everybody is like, whoa, I didn't know that. So a lot of times, if you just explain your position and educate them, they're going to back off and realize that they're in the wrong. However, this is a different time. So what you do is, if they're denying you access, you go to your sheriff. You get an affidavit of complaint and you lodge a complaint with your sheriff. And you hold that sheriff's feet to the fire. The sheriff in your county is the top law enforcement official everywhere. So even if a federal agent comes in, a U.S. Marshal, whatever, the sheriff has authority over them. The most famous case is Sheriff Mack out in Washington. The federal agents came in and he said, no, this isn't your jurisdiction. I am the top dog here. Well, they took him to court and went all the way to Supreme Court, and Sheriff Mack won. So if the sheriff says, well, that's the city of whichever, I'm just the county sheriff, it's all my jurisdiction, you hold him to his oath of office, say, no, you are the county that encompasses the whole county, including the city in it. There is a crime being committed. You need to go and investigate and handle it. And if they don't, you just keep following up. You put pressure. You if you have to, recall the sheriff. If he's not willing to do his oath of office and uphold and defend that oath, then he's not worthy of that office. And there's jurisprudence that says all officials are not above the law, meaning anybody can be arrested for crimes they're committing. And we have to hold them accountable. And the more people we get in our counties to stand up and go and talk to the sheriff, the more pressure the sheriff has and the more reason to go and protect our rights. So that's what we really have to focus on.
Oh, that is awesome. And you guys, I'm going to use that into a segue. Uh-oh. What happened to Kyle?
I'm guessing somebody came in his office.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to use that into a segue to get to the meat and potatoes, you guys. Okay? Because here's where the tough questions come out. Because I'm a realist. Now, Liberty, my base knows that I do believe in exhausting all forms of diplomacy before I say, hey, let's pick up arms and let's practice our constitutional rights of abolishing the government if it has turned fully tyrannical. So, Lisa, and then down to Liberty, then hopefully Kyle can come back in. If our government refuses to acknowledge or just even adhere to the United States Constitution, there's a founding father that basically said this, and I'm going to paraphrase this, okay? I wish I could quote him verbatim, but he said that the Constitution is only a document. It means nothing if you elect people who don't care about it, basically. So you have to elect people who actually care about it. Now, if our government fails to acknowledge the United States Constitution, and we have exhausted all forms of diplomacy, what are the odds of us having a peaceful transition? Or how could we have a peaceful transition? Or what do we do? Like, what are our options if our government fails to adhere to the United States Constitution? Lisa, I'm going to pose that question to you first.
That's a big question. And, that has crossed my mind too. What do we do? I'm not going to pretend like I have an answer for that. I don't know what we're going to do. I have some ideas, talk to some people, but, for right now, I'm just hoping that our government recognizes the Constitution and allows the Constitution to speak the authority that it has. I don't know. What are we going to do, Kyle?
Oh, what have I been asking you from the start? How bold and how loud do you want to be?
Yeah.
We
Right.
stand up, we unite,
Mhm.
and we let them hear our roar.
Mhm.
We are not sheep. We need to be lions. And that's been a popular phrase, but that's been more of a keyboard warrior type where, hey, let's pass this cool meme on. Let's pass this cool video on. When are you going to come out from behind the keyboard and actually take action? And Lisa and her husband, along with some other business owners, they've had enough. They're drawing that line in the sand. And that's, you unite the patriots, you stand up, you put them on notice, and then you take action. And remember, all of these people, whether elected or appointed, took an oath of office. They are violating that oath of office. We need to hold them accountable by taking them to the courts and turning the courts back to our favor by holding our authority over them. We need some good men and women who are sheriffs to stand up and be the hero and say, you know what, no more. I'm defending the Constitution, and it only takes one person to stand up. It only takes that first person to start dancing, and everybody else starts dancing, right? So we are really encouraging people to build that relationship with their sheriffs. Find the constitutional sheriffs that are good men. Lisa has a great guy in her county. We talked to him yesterday. Really nice guy. He's a constitutional guy, but like all people, he knows he's going to have some retaliation. He might even already be getting some pressure to not back Lisa. And that's what's happening. These corrupt politicians, through crook or nook or crook, are finding themselves influencing our good law enforcement agencies. And they are backing down because a lot of them, they're being threatened with their lives or their children's lives or their spouse or their extended family. If they have a business or anything. So we really have to rally around our constitutional sheriff, support them, take a lot of that venom that's being thrown at them and the arrows being thrown at them and help them. We have to let them know that we don't believe in defund the police. We don't believe in that all police are bad just because they wear a badge. We are going to support you as long as you support and uphold our constitutional rights. And then you build that relationship and you prove it. We got to stop sitting back as the conservative side of things and just being, well, you know, it always plays out this way, but in the end, it turns out. When we are at a point where we sat too long, we have to act, and the time is now. Actually, the time was 7 months ago.
Yeah.
But again, we sat back. So now we're forced. You know, it's like the bully that keeps pushing you, keeps pushing you, keeps pushing you. Finally, you throw your hands up and say, "I'm just walking away," and then he punches you in the mouth. How many punches before you start fighting back? And what Lisa and her husband are doing, they've had enough with all the unlawful paperwork that's been filed on them, unlawful orders. They've had enough, and they're ready to start pile driving the governor and the attorney general and everybody else who's stamping all over their rights.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's right, Kyle. And maybe I misunderstood the question just a little bit in the beginning, but yeah, when the governor said, you know, you can't operate your business, and you know, we went along with it the first time, and looking back, I'm kind of sorry that we did, you know, but now that I know what I know, but here we are, and second shutdown when we weren't even rebounded from the first shutdown. We knew that it was going to kill us, and it is time for more of us to stand up. What other choice do we really have at this point? We're basically whittled down to nothing. Some of us have already closed our businesses for good. Some of us are on the verge of closing our business, and for me, that's where it was. We're on the verge of closing, or either closing permanently, or we reopen fully. And when I learned what I've learned, and you know, here's something I want to encourage everybody that's listening. You don't have to You don't have to know everything going into this, right? I still don't know everything. I'm still learning on a daily basis, so we're trying to run our business. We're trying to run, you got stuff you got to take care of in your personal life. So you still have a life going on. And we're trying to learn, what our rights are, what our liberties and freedoms are. What I would say to you is be courageous, muster up that courage, that bravery, whatever you need, stand up straight, stand up tall. There's people out there that can help you. There's people that are helping me. Kyle and Liberty from Constitutional Law Group have been amazing support for us, assistance of counsel. We do need to stand up. I'm thinking, I'm thinking of our children and our grandchildren. We've had the opportunity in this country. I'm 56. We've had the opportunity, my husband and I, to live a good life. We're hard workers. Yeah, like any business owner is, any successful business owner knows that it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, right? And we appreciate our freedoms and our liberties. We're watching those collectively be stripped away from us. What does that mean for the rest of our life on this earth, but also more so our children, our grandchildren, and future generations? So it's time that we stand up and have a voice, stand on the Constitution, and let's take back our liberties and freedoms. People got to start saying no. They got to start standing up. And yes, it does take a little bit of homework at the end of the day. When you don't have anything left and you go home at the end of the day, the last thing you want to do is maybe study the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence or whatever. But that is the thing that we need to be doing. So let's do it. Let's collectively join together and let's fight this. Let's stand.
Well said.
If I could add to that,
Yeah, go ahead, Liberty.
Yeah, you asked, what are our options when the government isn't listening to us? And, we've got the First Amendment until we need to use the Second. And I don't believe that we have fully exhausted the first, because we have not correctly used our Constitution as, frankly, the weapon that it is, because it is the tool that we need, that we use, that we have, that is useful, and our foundation for keeping those government servants in line. And we have not properly used it. We have protested in the streets. We have written letters. We have gone to meetings and said, I don't like what's happening. We have not properly quoted our rights. We have not properly asserted our rights. We have not demanded that our rights be honored as we the people. We have said this is not constitutional, but then we've not backed it up with anything. So I do believe that there's a point that there might be a point of no return. But from what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've learned on what resources we do have available in the Constitution, we have not used all of that to its full extent yet. And to piggyback on what Kyle said about the sheriff, we absolutely, one of our top priorities, along with reading the Constitution and understanding our rights, is building the relationship with the sheriff, make sure the sheriff understands his rights and responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. And I'm going to give you a little breakdown of exactly the power structure, truly what the power structure is. We the people are at the top. The Constitution comes after that. The sheriff comes after that. And then way down at the bottom, all in an equal bottom rung, are every other elected official, including every city council member, every school board member, every mayor, every governor, all equally has no power against the people. And the sheriff has the power if he truly, he or she truly takes that power and wields it, what they are rightfully given and lawfully given under the Constitution. That sheriff can arrest a governor for crimes that they are committing against the people, we the people.
Wait, let me up the ante. What about us, the people, arresting these people?
We can. We can. They're the National Action Task Force has been doing it for years. Judges, DAs, regular attorneys, sheriffs, council, city council, and county board supervisors. They've been doing this for years. It's not the easiest process, and you got to know exactly what you're doing. But we have the power to get our sheriffs to act. The sheriff can call a grand jury without needing to explain why he's doing it. And so if the sheriff in Ramsey County is a constitutional guy, which we understand he's probably not the most constitutional guy, says, you know what, what the governor is doing, what Ellison is doing, falls under domestic terrorism. I'm going to convene a grand jury of 12 of our peers, and we're going to put the evidence out there. And if they decide that they are going to go through with it and issue an arrest warrant for the governor and that on these facts, then the sheriff goes and arrests them.
So Kyle, how do we go about this? Because I'm going to tell you, adamantly and vehemently, I'm for this. How do we get them arrested? And before you answer that, Kyle, also too, if all the members of this panel, you guys can give me your feedback on this idea too, because I said I want to get a petition signed, but I know we're going to need over close to probably 100 million signatures. It's possible, but I want to be like Martin Luther when he went to the Catholic Church and he nailed his treatise and like give my people liberation. That's what I want to do at Congress. Give my people freedom. Leave, or we will come back and make you leave. But I know I'm going to need a lot of signatures with that. So Kyle, so how do we get Ellison, Walz arrested, and then how will we go about the petition to get these people out of Congress?
I don't know so much about the petition. Obviously, there's power in numbers. You want to get as many people behind you that are going to act and not just again sit behind the keyboard and say, "Yeah, I'm in." But when time comes, you had 100,000 and only 1,000 show up. You want the people that are ready to go, willing. And I got news for everybody. It's not just Republican or conservatives. There are Democrats, there are progressives that are fed up with what's going on. So
the Constitution is for everybody. The Constitution does not have a political party.
Right. And so you unite them and you go full force. What are they going to do if 100,000 Minnesotans show up at the Capitol screaming and demanding justice and their unalienable rights being respected and upheld? They're going to buckle so quick. But to the point of how do we get the sheriffs to act? Well, in Wisconsin, I've taken, along with a group of patriots, lawful action against the man acting as governor, Mr. Evers, against the guy acting as lieutenant governor, Mandela Barnes, and the secretary designee of Wisconsin, Andrea Palm, along with my local health director. And we filed affidavits, had them properly served, and we laid out just every key point of what they're doing that's in violation of the law, in violation of our rights. And we've attached the science to it. We've attached a timeline. We've attached the stats, everything you can think of, we've done. And so that process has taken us to, you give them a certain amount of days. This was, in my case, was 14 days. If they don't rebut to this affidavit, that is tactically agreeing to everything that's said in that affidavit. And if they choose that they want to rebut to the affidavits, they have to answer with fact, truth, and evidence of law every single point. And these affidavits are so airtight, they can't do it. So if they did, they would perjure themselves, which is a felony, and they would be out of office because you can't be a felon in office. So then you go to a judgment summary hearing, which I'm currently putting pressure on the federal courts to give me one. and our local courts do give me one. Once you get that summary judgment, because again, there's no controversy. These affidavits were not rebutted, so they've been tactically agreed to. They're agreeing that they've committed these crimes. You get the summary judgment, then you bring it to your sheriff and say, hey, look, here's the judge's judgment. Go do your job. Arrest this person. And if they don't, then you get the masses again. You get them to file complaints with the sheriff and put that pressure on. And in Wisconsin, we had a recall effort that fell short, and there's a lot of controversy around it. But there is approximately over 600,000 people, both Democrat and Republicans, that signed to recall both the lieutenant governor and the governor of Wisconsin. So I'm pretty sure we could get the numbers. And by this time, it's probably over 1 million people that would sign up and go and put pressure. And we have to do everything lawful to put the pressure on our sheriffs. We have to do everything lawful to put the pressure on our elected and appointed officials. And once that's all run out, you got to take matters into the Constitution's hands.
You guys, I love this. You know, I believe this is definitely a God-inspired appointment. You guys, I believe in divine intervention. I believe in God's providence. I believe in God's sovereignty. I believe things happen for a reason. Here's a silver lining, you guys. The reason why we are being persecuted as patriots is because we have become complacent. And due to us becoming complacent, we have become indirectly and unknowingly, unwillingly complicit. And it's a hard truth to swallow. But you guys, we have to red pill ourselves and then red pill the nation. We have to wake up. We have to become constitutionally and declarationally, literate. That Declaration of Independence has 27 contentions. Walls, these rogue Democrats, I'm telling you, it's like they're almost violating all those 27 contentions that are written in the Declaration of Independence. It's crazy. History repeating itself. But the thing is, though, history is repeating itself, but the patriot is illiterate and we do not know how to fight. Well, this video, let this be your starting point. Use this video as your blueprint. Share this video. We have to wake the masses up. You guys, there has been an agenda, a liberal agenda that has started centuries ago to slowly deconstruct America from within. And that first strike, you guys, that swift blow was to make you have contempt for the United States Constitution. If you think that is too far-fetched, oh yeah? Well, look at Antifa. Do you think they care about the United States Constitution? Do you think they care about the American flag? Do you think they care about America? We are at war. Wake the heck up and stop playing games. Get out there, be loud, and as Kyle said before, stop being a sheep and become a freaking lion, especially if you identify as Christian. You should be the boldest person in your community. I'm serious. And if you are more on fire than anybody else that's around you, find somebody else that's more on fire. Surround yourself with those people. Because I'm telling you, one of the things I love about being on fire, being a Christian, being a patriot, is that when you're a fire, everybody that wants to get warm comes to you. Okay? So basically what I'm saying is that if you want change, become the change that you want. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you, there's laws of attraction. If you want to change America, change yourself. And the way that you change yourself is by learning that United States Constitution along in conjunction with the Declaration of Independence and being bold and being a lion and then teaching other people the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. You guys, we are approaching that time. Liberty, I want to start with you. If you have any final words, any suggestions or anything like that, please do us the honors.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, get yourself a pocket constitution. Start reading that. Read your state constitution, whatever state you're in. Something that's interesting is Article 4 of the United States Constitution actually, in Section 1, grants full faith and credit. It says full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state. That means we as states have the right of the people of every other state. So I get to have the rights of the people in Arizona, California, South Dakota, Texas. If the people of those states have a right granted in their constitution, I, as the people of these United States, am also afforded the rights of the people in any other state, because we are a union of states. So if you find something in any constitution that you like and you are the people, then you have the right to that. So getting to know your constitutions, those are really big steps. Talking to the sheriffs and building those relationships are other steps. We actually are boldly taking a step on Sunday. We are going to be hosting a peaceful freedom protest in Albert Lea. Lisa and Kyle will be speaking at that. We have some other patriots coming in. We've got an ally coming in from Kentucky who took on his governor and won. So he's coming up here as a patriot to support other businesses. We want every business owner there, whether you say a word or not. We want people and businesses out there to listen and learn what their rights are, because that is our goal, educating the people so that they know what is and is not right. And so on Sunday, we are having a peaceful protest in Albert Lea, and we'll have speakers. And then I believe Lisa has arranged for some live music at the end. So it's not all business, it will be fun as well. So those are my final thoughts.
And I'm not going to be the musical guest. Okay, you guys. So, no. Lisa, do you have any final words and suggestions for us?
You know, I guess I would say, just do it, guys. Is it scary? Yeah, it was. I was scared when I first started this this journey, and but we need to do it. We need to take back our rights, our freedoms, our liberties. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children, your grandchildren, future generations. You can do it. There's great help out there for you. I would piggyback on what Liberty said. Yeah, get yourself some pocket constitutions. Learn that Constitution. I am in the process of learning the Constitution. It's the Declaration of Independence. We need to educate ourselves. Let's educate ourselves. Let's fight for our country, guys. This is real. This is serious. We can't wait any longer. Hey, I've taken a ton of flack for this. I have. You might have family members that are not going to agree with what you're doing. You'll have friends that maybe won't be your friends any longer. You'll have some nasty things said to you and about you. But you know what? That's okay. We are fighting for a great cause. This is worth the cause. This is worth the fight. So learn your Constitution, get educated, stand up. If you need to call me, I'll give you some encouragement. I'd be happy to talk to you. Reach out. You can find me on our Facebook page, The Interchange in Albert Lea, Minnesota. That's who we are. And I just want to encourage you to go out and fight this fight.
Thank you, Lisa, for that. Liberty, before we head over to Kyle, Liberty, can you tell the base where they can reach you?
Yeah, they can actually get a hold of us if they go to the constitutionallawgroup.us. They will be able to find a lot of these resources. Otherwise, I can share my email address. If they want, they can just send an email to wethepeoplewi@gmail.com. So wethepeoplewisconsin@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And I was a little mentally lethargic on that part when you said WI. I was like, what does that stand for? Okay, but thank you for that. Kyle, My brother, man. I just want to say this before I let Kyle say his final say. You guys have been a blessing. You guys have been exceptional. You guys have basically been inspiring, and I just have to say this, you guys, and I'm pretty sure the base shares these sentiments. You guys came at the best time, and everything that you guys have said, I mean, it just resonates with me, and it is so encouraging to know that there are other patriots out there and just like, look, we're going to take the fight to the man. We're going to stick it to the man, and we're going to preserve our constitutional republic. And so I just want to thank you guys for just being here. This has been amazing. Kyle, any final words and any suggestions for the base?
Well, first off, thanks for having us. We really appreciate you letting us tell her story, talk about Lisa, and just get what we're doing out there. So thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. It seems like it's a great show, and you're very knowledgeable. So thank you for that. You can find Liberty and I on Facebook at Recipes for Freedom. We're also on MeWe under the same Recipes for Freewee, Parlor, Recipes for Freedom, and then also on Rumble. So you can find us there. Email Liberty with questions. We are a team. We are partners in this. Where I fail, she picks up, and I don't think she has any failings, but I try to come up and pick up whatever she can and support her. The thing I love about Lisa and her husband is she seemed like at first this kind of, timid person, not in a bad way, but
Very sweet.
sweet and just unsure. And as we talked more, I could feel her energy and her spirit just get bigger and bigger, and her passion grow. And listening to her and her husband talk, I kept on asking how big and how bold, how big and how bold. And it'd take a second. We're ready. Let's do this, And every time I ask how big or how bold you want to go, she accepted. She's like, yes, we are standing firm. This is what we believe in. And so their passion and their fire has really inspired me. And the willingness to go from, hey, we're just going to have, try to get as many people as we can, talk about what's happening, and go from there to, we are going to shoot that proverbial shot across the bow and draw that line in the sand. We're going to do a peaceful protest. We are going to be loud. We're going to get thousands of people there. We're going to try to fill the city full of peaceful, pissed off patriots. And we are going to tell our story, and we are going to get our message out that we are not standing for this anymore, that Ellison and Waltz and everybody else that is falling in line with them, and there are Democrats and there are Republicans that are doing this and just as happy to take away our rights. We're going to tell them, knock it off, and we're coming for you in the most lawful way possible, but we're coming for you. We're done messing around. You're done doing what you're doing. And so I really appreciate Lisa and her husband taking the stand and being those beacons of light for Minnesota. So Sunday at 1:00 at the City Hall in Albert Lea, we start marching. So if you get there 12:30, noon, whatever, come meet Lisa, come meet Liberty and myself, and some of the other people that are going to be marching. Bring your signs, bring your blowhorns, bring your drums, whatever. We start at 1. We walk approximately 6 blocks down to the courthouse. Once everybody arrives, and we're hoping it takes about half hour, 45 minutes, because we have that many people coming to get there. To walk the 6 blocks, we're just hoping for just an unbelievable turnout. We'll have our speakers go ahead and talk. Lisa will talk a little bit about how she's been affected. Other business owners that we've invited will talk. Andrew from Lexington, Kentucky will be there to talk about his success. I'll do a little bit on the Constitution and supporting our constitutional sheriffs. And then I have a special request from Senator Scott Jensen on how to start the rally. And so he does give his blessing, and had he not had prior engagements, he would have gladly came down and talked. Liberty last night was on a phone call with a bunch of representatives from the state of Minnesota who are fed up. So because Lisa and her husband have stood up and have been willing to take on this fight and be bold and put themselves out there, they are sparking a fire within the structure, which is what we need. So again, it just inspires me to keep going. And I hope to see as many of your listeners out there. This morning, I hadn't told Lisa or Liberty this. I had a lady that's been on the Recipes for Freedom page following say that because of this, what Lisa and her husband are doing and being willing to boldly stand up, she's out in Virginia. She is putting a group together and she wants to do the same thing. So you're inspiring people across the U.S., Lisa. Just to let you know, I'm proud of you and I thank you. So, and thanks again for having us on here.
No, thank you very much. I just want to say I'm kind of ambivalent about attending an Albury because it's just the thing is, you guys, I have a genetic disposition towards the cold, right? And I think it may be, just hardcore genetics, right? But I want to say
30 and only partly cloudy. So we should have sun and it should be 30.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, so you say it should be 30 degrees or something like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, put me on there, but I can't promise anything yet. Okay. I can't promise anything yet, but if you can send me the coordinates, I mean, that'll help to reassure that I can make it. But also, you guys, I just want to say this, okay? Because, I have to add some levity to it because this is a very serious matter, you guys. And I mean, it's not to break the monotony, but the thing is, though, I feel like we're all just like beautiful people. That's what I see conservatives. I think like a honey badger is cute, but a honey badger is vicious as hell. I mean, we have to be honest, you guys. We're freaking honey badgers. And we're like, dude, you're trying to stop us from getting to our honey. Nothing stops a honey badger, okay? I don't care how big the lion is, the elephant, all of those things are afraid of a honey badger. Conservatives, it's time that you become the honey badger. And if you don't like the honey badger, become the freaking lion that you are by default. You are a lion if you are a Christian. You have great power in you that is immeasurable. Honestly, you have the power of the creator of the universe in you. Harness that power, direct it, and let's do the impossible. Because when you're attached to the vine, you do the impossible. And you should only expect the impossible to be done because it's faith by works, right? And you guys, I am so privileged right now and just so honored and so blessed to have all three of you guys on. For all the people who are watching this with the base, if you guys would like to have them on again, please give me a 1. Because I know you guys, because I'm stoked by this, you guys. I'm serious. Like, I'm exhilarated right now. I'm like on cloud 9. Stucci. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kyle.
Something.
Yeah.
I know you're adding levity to everything, but that's one of the issues with people making excuses not to go. And I'm not saying that you're making an excuse.
Oh, yeah, I'm going.
I want to leave you with this. Back in 1776, there's 56 men that came together.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them had their families tortured and killed. Some of them themselves were tortured. Some of them lost businesses. Some of them lost their homes. Other of them lost their lives later on in battle. But the point is, they sacrificed everything through the heat, through the cold, loss, death. They sacrificed everything. What is your freedom worth to you? Will an hour drive or a couple hour drive, will standing out in the cold, will that deter you from standing up for your feet, from standing up for your freedom? It's easier for me to think than say. You really got to dig down and do some soul searching. So I encourage anybody that's on the fence or thinks, well, I'll catch the next one. There might not be an opportunity for the next one. Think of those 56 men who sacrificed everything so we could have everything.
And
You guys see that?
I
Go ahead, Liberty.
think I have one really quick thing. You know, we, Lisa, Kyle, and I have talked about this often, and we've all said the same thing, which is basically, you know, we got dragged in kicking and screaming. We did not start this fight, but we are going to finish it.
Ooh, see, now you're speaking my language. You're speaking my language. And you guys see, Kyle just held me accountable. So I have to show up now. I have to show up. And, you know, and so, so that's awesome, you guys. I'm serious. Okay, so before we conclude, you guys, I want to say this yet again. How about this? Liberty, throw out the announcement just one more time for where you guys are going to be meeting on Sunday. Then I'll throw out my announcement.
Yes. So on Sunday, we are going to be in Albert Lea, and we are going to be meeting at 1. We're going to start at the City Hall, and we are going to march to the courthouse. And we will have speakers. We will have music afterwards. The interchange is fully open with no restrictions. So you can, see, have some coffee, have a sandwich, have a snack. You know, Lisa, I believe, has arranged for 1 food truck for sure, maybe a couple more, but you know, we're trying to get additional accommodations because we expect a huge turnout.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And also, you guys, for the record, you all know that I'm going to be headed to DC to support our president, you guys, because he definitely needs this support. He is fighting against the powers of hell and this corrupt establishment that exists unconstitutionally because it's a plutocracy. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic, and this is absolutely ridiculous. I support the constitutional reset. And the way that we can get to that constitutional reset, you guys, is by us having an informed populace who knows their rights. And so, yet again, I just want to thank panelists for actually coming and you guys just offering your inspirational insight, you guys. I mean, it's loaded with facts, but it's loaded with power. And you guys, please, if you haven't shared this yet, share this, okay? We need to inspire other people. Other people need to see other patriots who are standing up and taking action, because people have to understand they are not alone, because we know that liberal media likes to foster this false narrative that, no, you are alone. And you're alone, and the way that you think by default is just incorrect, and you need to be subject to the ministry of propaganda, because we are full-blown authoritarianism, and if you don't subscribe to our narrative and become subservient to the cognitive dissidents, we will force you to. We're sick of it. We are sick of it. So bravo, patriots. That's the silver lining between with all this persecution, is that it's waking up patriots. But the thing is, though, you're becoming mavericks. It is time to basically become defiant to those who are defiant to the United States Constitution. Stand up and fight for America. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. Christ bless you, and keep America a constitutional republic. To all the panelists, please remain on. God bless you, America.